get me to where I slide your table down this way. So
Gotcha.
That'll center us up some.
There you go. That works for me. I need to turn this on. I think. There we go. So we can see. Let's go over here. So we can see. You can see Chad also.
Boom. Plus, I got it on my phone. We're already live,
Chad
right?
also.
Boom. All right, we got catfish people coming in.
Yep. Maurice, Just a Tip, K and B, Fishing with Big Nasty.
Big Nasty. What's up, my sweet thing?
Ryan Outdoors, PD, Trey, Irvin. Might have a crowd in here tonight
I know,
with us.
man. Gonna have a little crew going on. You didn't see it, but I just posted something on Facebook as I was walking in.
Kentucky, Muddy River Catfishing.
Wow,
Mr.
Mr.
Flores.
Flores is in the house. He must be bored tonight, man. He's tuning in and watching something. That's good.
Let's see, wouldn't he still be at work right now?
Maybe let's see. That would be what he's. No, he'd be off by now. There's what 3 hours difference out there or something. So yeah, yes, it's hardworking man. Hard man. Yeah, it's a good little crowd of people, man.
Yep. Well, guys, there's Combat Carl, Maurice. Guys, let's start this out by saying God bless America and welcome Mr. Dieter Melhorn to the show tonight. Appreciate y'all joining us in. Jimmy Woodard's in here. Good crowd coming in. 19 already. That's pretty good the first 2 minutes.
Bam, up to 21. There we go. Good job.
You know what happens, guys? Catfish Terry, Dirty Orr, T-Med. Let's get it up. We get it up to 40. That means there'll be an extra drawing on the wheel tonight. Glenn's in the house.
Where's the wheel at?
Right here.
Oh, you got a wheel over there. Okay. There we
See,
go.
I got an open spot. Ain't nobody volunteered.
Explain how this works now. Explain it, because I saw it one day and it was confusing and I didn't understand about a spot. Explain how the spot works.
All right. What it is each one of these, I'm Patriot. I took the pink one. You got Justin Fishing Fetish, PD, T-Med's on here now, Christian on here, which is Just a Tip Fishing. Usually this is Kentucky Catman. He makes some knives or whatever.
Right.
So what I do is each one of them make a DIY. Like I make bobbers and drifting sinkers like Justin Fishing Fetish. You want some of his drifting weights.
Right.
We make different things and they add this to the show instead of having some big name like Regraphs or something to sponsor our show.
Gotcha.
The people in the show actually are our sponsors.
That makes sense now. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, good.
I do a random pick out of the chat and they are winning. Tonight, Richard brought the stuff for the donation for actually the giveaways. We do it the first of the month. Last week, he was busy, guys. And so then I was too. We didn't get up with each other, but this week he got up with me today. My buddy right here, East Coast Prospecting. That's my gold mining buddy.
Combat Carl says 10 pounds of sinkers. That's impressive.
You'll give 10 pounds of sinkers tonight, Carl?
I don't know what was said before that, Carl. Hopefully I didn't put words in your mouth.
Slide down and see what it was said.
Carl said, if Dieter goes shirtless, he'll give me 10 pounds of sinkers. Oh, wait, no, he didn't say that. Sorry, I read that wrong.
You'll make a winner's pick, Carl. So you got a way to pick it. Okay. So somebody's going to rack up tonight. That's
a cool deal. That's a good. Are they guaranteed to sink?
Yeah, that's it. They got to guarantee to sink, Carl. One cat's in the house. But Richard come by and he done his thing he does every month. Like 1 month he done the tackle box. It was neat. This week he brought a Zebco spinning reel. Everybody needs a baiting reel. And with that, we'll do 2 different draws, one for the reel and whisker sticks, drifting sticks. Yeah, so that's going to be the 2 drawing tonight, guys.
Drifting sticks are awesome if you had never tried them.
And
are those the rattling? Those are, I know they had some, oh yeah.
The rattling, I think they're all different ones and the sanded ones.
Hear that?
Yep.
Cool.
Let's see. Who else we got in here? We up to 29, up to 30.
Bam.
Yeah. Keep it going, guys.
Like a freak show.
Yeah. You've been working on both. For Asian carp, that'd be fun. That's what a daggum 12 gauge shotgun for.
Thank God we don't have those things around
I
here.
know,
But I
man.
heard they're good bait now. I heard, and then somebody is doing something with some kind of fish food or something for them. So there may be actually
Been able to catch them.
yeah, some commercial appeal to them coming that's on the
That would
future
be
down there. So that's pretty cool.
Lyle's in the house. Lyle uses them.
Wow. Catfish Weekly is here. Wow.
Yeah, he
I'm
comes
impressed.
in every week.
This makes me nervous now when he comes around. Stuff.
But Lyle loves using them for bait. So yeah, guys. So I guess we'll start out with you went fishing today.
I did go fishing today. I was on the water, did a live feed from out there. I actually did two. The first one locked up for some reason. I don't know what happened with that. I think that was a YouTube thing. But it started raining. We were supposed to have passing showers today, and it's been raining since I started fishing at 2:00. So it's been continuous. But yeah, it was good fishing. I caught a few after I got off the air, and so I ended up with like 14 fish. And I had that one male that actually had another. That one male was beat up. There was another male that wasn't beat up that bad. So
that male looked like a channel.
He did look. Somebody actually called it a channel cat. He was very dark. He was all hormoned up. But yeah, when he looked at that anal fin, it was definitely a blue. But he'd been fighting. I don't know. I think we still got spawning happening, but I think a lot of it's happened. I think with some of the temperatures and stuff we had early on. Who wants to guess what the water temperature was today? Who wants to guess what the water temperature was where I did my live feed from? I didn't show my screen, did I?
No, 76.
You say 76.
Come on, guys.
Chime in with some numbers there. What do you think the water temperature was? If any of you watched any of my stuff earlier last week,
68, 77, 76.
I've been 80. Fishing in 80 degree water. It was up in the 80s there a week or so ago.
Yeah.
Where I was fishing at today, and I should have told you that. Well, I don't know. Y'all had to guess. It don't matter. We'll let a few more chime in. I see one that's close. That's it. Last one. Ryan's the closest. He says 71. It was 70 degrees where I was fishing.
Really?
And that was river water. It was muddy. So yeah, it was pretty chilly. Big drop. It was 70. Where was I at? 74 something, 76 yesterday on the main lake, but that was a little bit clearer water. So yeah, a lot of that rainwater and stuff, a lot of that, all that where I was today was in a river. That was all rainwater runoff. But
right.
Wiley would shock you. 2 days ago, after they opened the gates, covered in mud, a dirt field. It looked nasty. I go out yesterday. It looked like it was about the color of your walls. It was almost a sandy looking color.
Really? That fast?
And when I left today, it'll be Lake Wiley Green by tomorrow. They're moving that much water through that system. It's unreal. So they really.
I wonder what Watery looks like. It's a mess in Fishing Creek.
The thing is, I heard Watery was not going to crest as high as I thought it was going to. I think it only got to like 102.5 or something like that. So Duke Power, in spite of the people on Mountain Island, did a wonderful job of just
getting rid
controlling the water and getting it through there.
Because usually Watery will get hit hard.
Yep.
41 people in the house tonight.
Good show. And if any of y'all fish on Lake Wiley and know Lake Wiley, I talked with Jeff Manning about this. He just walks off. He just lets me ramble on. If you've ever been to the little boat ramp, the old boat ramp up there in Mount Holly at the 27 Bridge,
right.
The old dude used to run it. He had a little shack out there.
Yep.
It was a gravel parking lot. The water was to the bottom of the roof on that place 2 days ago.
That's crazy.
And what amazes me, the dynamics of, the main lake went up. It was up to full pond. It was up at 100. But that's got to be 10 or 15 feet above what the lake level is, the water level. So that whole dynamic of all that water being pushed coming out of Mountain Island into that small area, that lake was 10 to 11 feet higher, 12 feet higher up there than it was down at South Point Access area. Think about that for a second. That's you ask, how can that happen? But I will send you the pictures, and I'm going to post all this, the dynamics of what happens with, chew on that for a second. When I show you those pictures, when you go under 27, you've got the vertical supports,
Yep.
and then you got a concrete beam that goes
Yep.
across it. Okay. The water was that far from that upper concrete beam that goes across it.
That's crazy.
Now, any of y'all that have ever been on Lake Wiley, especially if you run all the way up into that river section up there, will know what I'm talking about here. It's amazing that level of water, what happens, because you got all that water getting pushed into a place this big.
Right.
But by the time it gets down to the lake, it's this big and it all spreads out.
And that's a lot of freaking current combusting down through there.
Crazy how much current there was.
Well, they showed boats trapped underneath the 16 bridge on Mountain Island. That's 30 foot of water.
Exactly. Some of them made it over the dam. There were some that broke loose and actually went over the dam. I think Brad Panovich had some stuff on his page today. He had some drone footage of the spillway side, which is way down now.
Right.
But there were some boats and some boat docks and stuff down there that were, so it was, I was trying to explain to some people, the guys in the Midwest, man, I mean, they're just gotten killed with flooding. I mean, it's massive flooding. Right. They could see it coming. This storm snuck up on us. Nobody knew this.
Have a clue.
Yeah, this is not something they predicted. There was it's just like, we're going to get some rain. There's going to be some.
But we didn't get, we were what, 2 inches here, maybe 3?
Around 3 here. I looked at the Gastonia Airport. It was around 3, kind of around our basin watch where it's 3 inches, which is going to cause the lakes to go to full pond.
Right.
But what happened was at the headwaters, Hickory, Caldwell County, Catawba County, they got 8, 10, 11, 12. There were some isolated areas, 14 inches of rain. And that's what created the stupid amount that got dumped into the lake. So crazy.
Well, guys, we got 44. We're now down to 42. We hit the 40 mark, so we'll be doing 2 drawings tonight. And I'm sorry, I know I've missed some people's comments.
Yeah, if there's any questions, throw them out there.
Yeah, now throw them out there again because they've got passes right here.
I was jacking my jaws.
Imagine Big Nasty said, did you say gar? Big Nasty has.
Big Nasty, I want to talk about that for a second. I'm glad you bring that up. I actually was working on the gar lure. I know you don't like rope lures, but I was actually working on one the other day. And as soon as this water cleans up and it gets back up to about 85, 88 degrees, we need to go gar fishing. I want to do some gar fishing. I want to see if you can catch gar trolling for them. I've heard that the legendary, and if any of y'all have any pictures of this dude, Garman Jack down on Lake Lanier in Georgia, used to troll for him, kind of like we do catfish, pulling these rope lures and stuff on topwater. If y'all got any pictures, message me with them. I would love to see some of that stuff.
I've heard that name for years. I fished that lake one time many years ago. Guys invited me to go striper fishing with them. And we first went out, tied underneath the bridge, put the lights out, started crappie fishing. I thought, oh, we're striper fishing. We are. We got to catch bait. Catching crappie, now we was in 62 foot of water, catching crappie at about 22 foot of water. Pull it up, put it on a big rod, and drop it straight back down underneath the boat, down to about 45 foot of water. Said the stripers run underneath the crappie, where all the crappie fishing were tied up getting crappie. Stripers are running underneath there, picking off the crappie. We had one good run that night, and it was on about a 14-inch crappie, and they didn't hook up.
Yeah. Wow. That's a big fish to eat that.
Yeah.
That is a real big fish. I think PD said something about you got to troll real slow for him. And that's what I'm thinking is using trolling motor. And, I'm thinking 0.34, 0.5, just like we do for catfish. And I think they can be caught because I know at that you can put them out behind planer boards. You can put some that are diving down with a little more weight. So we're going to work on it, Big Nasty. I'm going to make gar fishing sexy again. Okay. So I want to do it. I just think people like seeing teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Fish. People like seeing teeth on freshwater fish.
Kenny P, I hope things are going good. He had his last chemo today, chemo treatment 10. Lord be with you, buddy. Prayers are with you. I'm glad so far everything's going good. Kentucky wants to know, said Dieter, you and Grayson going to come up and do some bow fishing for the Asians with him.
Grayson would do it. Can you shoot him with a compound bow? I don't know how Grayson would do it. He wants to shoot a bow. I need to get him a real one. I guess they put fishing spools on those things. I'll teach you, if he's got a chance to kill something, he'll learn to shoot a bow. He wants to shoot a bow anyway. But yeah, shooting those carp would be cool. I've watched, what's her name? Tiffany Lukoski shoot them out of a boat before. And they were shooting them in the air, which was crazy. That's
pretty
really
good.
crazy. That's really crazy.
Jeff Manning's in the house.
Wow. Hey, Jeff, what's up, buddy?
Appreciate you coming in.
If you need any block work done, call Jeff Manning. He loves laying blocks and pouring pipe concrete. It's his new passion in life. So.
Bill of Rights, I appreciate you coming in tonight, buddy. I know you got the wife's dragging you by the hair of the head. You better do what she says. Mark Turner's in the house. Let's see.
Either you can put a reel on a recurve. Yeah, I'm not shooting that recurve. I've tried that before, and I have a lot of respect for Fred Bear and his ability to kill stuff.
Oh, that's things. Amazing. That man's amazing.
Yeah, that instinct.
He was amazing. Yeah.
That instinct shooting is not for me.
And my name ain't Ted Nugent.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I'd better take the Mossberg pump out there and just
I used
feed the fish with them.
I used to bow hunt. I loved it when I did it, but it's just a lot of work to make it happen. How did we get on deer hunting?
I don't know.
Combat Carl's got the right idea. Let's talk catfish. Throw some catfish questions out there.
All right. So you was using chicken today.
Chicken. Yeah. I shocked some people whenever I threw the question up there. I said, what bait am I using today? And it was a rattling list of all kinds of stuff. And I'm doing I was just wanting to try it. I know it catches fish. Mac Byram used it with garlic powder. Joe Jellison, Chat Cats out in Tennessee. He's got a YouTube channel. He uses it. And I just wanted to see how effective it was. And I was kind of shocked. Caught 14 fish on it. So
nothing but chicken.
Nothing but chicken today. I tried it the first day with chicken and brim. It was evenly split. Yesterday, it was nothing but chicken. And I caught pretty decent fish yesterday. I'm not catching any big fish. They're kind of, this spawn stage fish. A lot of channels today, but then I got into some blues. So, yeah. Spawn ending. Great question. It's declining is the best way. It's going to get better. We're at that point where it's going to get better and better instead of getting worse and worse. So we're not where we were in May. It's fish are starting to show up. I think I had two teeners yesterday, and they're starting to show back up.
But now the females come off the nest first. That's she lays the eggs.
That's the general consensus is what happens. Like I've said before, I don't think anybody knows what the heck's going on. Totally.
I've wondered about that, tell you the truth. Yeah. Hagen's in here. Appreciate you coming in, buddy.
Yep. Somebody was asking today about, it may have been you that was asking about this, it's just bad for the spawn or whatever. The cool thing is that those fish can hold those eggs, the females, for a pretty long time. I have caught them before in July, and they sprayed eggs all over me. So they will hold those eggs pretty much as long as they need to get with a suitable male. That's why you end up seeing so many of the females, I think, first, is because they get with the male, dump the eggs, he does his thing, she's off, she's done. Right. And the males, she goes back, she's back into a normal life, next female steps right up. Right. And the males, meanwhile, are just, it's like, who's next? Who's next? Right, I love this game. And, so it can take a while.
Last June the 10th is when I gave you a holler during Sarah's show when I caught that big female.
Yep.
And she was completely spawned out.
Yep.
But now last year and this year, as far as weather and how much water we had through Wiley was totally different.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they spawned a little bit earlier last year. And the reason that some big females was being caught in June.
Yeah.
So, and they had been spawned out because her belly was just flabby. There was no eggs left in her.
Somebody says that they go back to their pre-spawn areas, post-spawn. Usually what I see happen is they're scattered out. You just start, that's a real good time generally to catch fish all over the place. Now, normally post-spawn, you're into late June, July. For us and our lakes and reservoirs, you're dealing with thermocline at that point. So you got to kind of keep an eye out for that. There ain't no thermocline in the lake right now. I can tell you that. That thing is churned up. But normally you get in the thermocline, you start to find fish above that. But that's when they really it's like you can catch them all over the place. It's a great time for drifting and dragging and that, type fishing. it'll, keep an eye on the thermocline depending on where you're at. If you're fishing rivers, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just ships. I wonder if the cooler water will impact the spawn. Best baits for the spawn. Let's see.
Chicken seems to work good today. The thing with the rain and the flooding is going to impact it. I'm sure there's some impact, but it's like I said in my live feed today, these fish spawn in the Mississippi and the Ohio and the Missouri River, and those rivers flow constantly all the time. So that's where those fish came from, and they don't have any problem with it. So they reproduce just fine. I'm sure it is probably better when we have typical, conditions and everything's stable, stuff's not getting washed away, but they're going to make it work. They're going to make it work.
That's nature. Yeah. They don't care what we think about the weather. They deal with what they got to deal with on a daily basis. And
the thing is, I think once the eggs are inseminated, fertilized, I think it's just they're guarding them to guard them. Once the deed's done, the magic has happened at that point. It's just a matter of whether they're getting scattered and rolled around. So
right. Let's see. Yeah, but Lake Wiley fish are kind of lazy. They've been laying around in a lake for years.
Well, they've had it made, and that's why I think that bigger fish come from lakes than they do rivers. I mean, just generally speaking, I think your lakes will produce bigger fish than your rivers. Now, Jeff Manning and I did a big video on what we think is the world's largest blue catfish ever caught. It came out of a river, and there's always anomalies, but I think generally speaking, your lakes are going to produce some more, and I think Kerr Lake is a good example of that. Lake Gaston, both those are good examples.
Yeah, because Lake Gaston's that's a big lake.
Pretty big lake. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many acres that place is, but one day I'd love to get down there and fish it. I'd love to get down there in December and fish it.
I got a buddy that he goes up there every once in a while, and he said, now, if you want to go up there and catch teeners, small baits, he said, you can fill your boat. Yeah. It ain't nothing to catch 20 and 30 in a day of them size fish. Yeah. But if you start targeting the bigger fish, drawing a bigger base, then your numbers go down. But he said it's slam full of the teener fish. And I know Jeff talked about, that Wiley might be peaking because the numbers of bigger fish that are being caught in there. But, then you hear of like Lake Gaston and some of these where they got tons of these size fish in there and still producing these big fish. Yep. So, I mean, I think catfish is one of them things that just hadn't put enough study into.
Yeah. And, that whole dynamic of taking what is basically river fish and then putting it in a reservoir changes everything. And, I don't know what the top people have asked me, I don't know what the top end is on Wiley. It seems like we've seen it on Watery for whatever reason. But, Watery's getting hit with commercial fishing. There's guys running commercial trout lines and stuff down there. So, that may have an effect. Now, does it, I don't know. I don't know what the top end is in any of those lakes. I think we hit 70 pounds, maybe. Jeff, Richard, in one of the tournaments, I think there was something right around 70. Weighed in, and Jeff's had something around 80. So is people say, "Oh, is there 100-pound fish in there?" I don't know. I think you need more 60, 70, 80-pound fish, but who knows, man? I think the bodies of water are big enough. I think there's enough bait in there for them. It's just a matter of that whole competition for food, and that's really what seems to on a lot of these newer lakes lead to those big fish, and then that kind of drop is that there's not a big competition for food. There's not a lot of mouths to feed, but the more spawn you have, the more those medium sized to little ones and all that.
Yeah. Competition.
There's only so many slices in that pizza.
Yeah. Freddie Beck, another gold mining buddy, wants to know what's your favorite shallow water rig and bait?
Dude, if y'all watch me, I use the Santee rig, and it's a Santee. I know it's a drift rig, and I two reasons. I say this repeatedly. One, I'm too lazy to retie and put a Carolina rig on. And two, it's pretty dang effective. It suspends the bait up, floats the bait up off the bottom, usually about this high. I think it helps with disseminating scent. And, it's something that a fish can come up and hit very easily. The other cool thing about it is if you want your bait to lay on the bottom, if you think that laying on the bottom makes some kind of a difference, you can just slide the cork up to the swivel and puff. It's going to lay on the bottom. So that's the one I use. Bigger baits, some of the bigger stuff you need to go with a Carolina rig or, all kinds of arguments we made on live bait, whether it needs to be on one or whatever. But I just use the Santee rig out of laziness and effectiveness. So
yeah, less retying.
Yeah, don't have to retie and all that kind of stuff. So
let's see.
Somebody was asking about bait, shallow water. Listen, I've done a video on it. The best catfish bait. I think shad. If you had to pick one, only thing you got one bait that you take anywhere in the country. Gizzard shad's hard to beat. But honestly, right now anything's going to work. I mean, I think the chicken proves that.
Yep.
They're hitting about anything. Once the water warms up this time of the year, pretty much anything works. There's preferential times, especially when fish go in shallow. If you're fishing shallow water when you got crappie spawning in there, then crappie's probably going to help. But these suckers are opportunistic feeders, and if they got an opportunity to eat something, they're going to eat it.
Justin Fishing Fetish wants to know favorite spawn bait during the spawn, and what depth does he normally target for this time?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm all over the place this time of the year. I really fish everywhere until I find fish. I did it the other day when I went out the first day of the flood and hit 2 or 3 spots. I was anchoring just because water was moving, and I hate drifting and moving water. Hit 2 or 3 spots, never caught a fish, and then boom, parked in a place where there was a mud line where fresh water was meeting the mud of the river, and there was an eddy current, and boom, there were fish there. And I caught them everywhere from I think probably 26, 28 feet up to about 8 feet. So there's no real magic depth right now on fish. Generally this time of the year, by mid-June, it's generally pretty hot. I stay away from deep water just because of a thermocline effect that we get in most of our lakes. Anything below 24 feet in our lakes is generally where the thermocline line is. And, that's usually a good thing to stay away from during the spawn. But one note on the thermocline, not all water under a thermocline is devoid of oxygen.
Right.
There are actually some situations where you can have a thermocline that has plenty of oxygen in it. And you used to get this in the South Fork all the time when it was the hot hole, when we had hot water discharge. You would have the hot water on top. And we measured this with thermometers back in the day. And literally in 12 feet of water, there would be a bottom 18 inches that was technically a thermocline. You could actually see the difference in the density of the water. Full of oxygen, loaded with freaking fish. They were in that water that was 10 degrees cooler on the bottom. So,
and it wasn't just a hot hole because of the water. It was a hot hole because you get slaughtered a daggum fish.
Hot fishing, buddy.
Yeah, real hot fishing.
Yeah. So, but most of the time, thermocline's bad. Most of the time, you get an area of pocket that is because of decomposition and everything that goes on, devoid of oxygen, and fish die.
And it's about to get that time of year.
So, by the time if it ever warms up and the water gets still again. So, yeah.
But now I run into something last year up on Moss Lake where I was out there and right before dark and put live baits out. And then when the sun went down, my whole screen turned black and my live bait died. It was like the bottom of the lake come to the surface.
It's almost like an
inversion. It was an algae bloom.
Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy. And it was like that just about across the whole lake, except back in the back where you had creeks feeding.
Yeah.
So, but it killed my fish.
Yeah. And that's another thing that we'll be seeing here probably next month or so will be algae bloom. More videos on that to come. I'm going to revisit that one. Matter of fact, I think I got an algae bloom video from last year that I never posted up. Was there a question about hooks? I saw something about
recommended hook size for channels.
Listen, I think people oversize on hooks, myself included. I think we use way bigger hooks than we need to be using for most fish. I use circle hooks. Y'all know that, just for a multitude of reasons. One, I can hook a fish, get up, turn my cameras on, and go to it without going crazy. And I can sit there and talk to the camera for another 20 seconds. What I'm getting at there is just you don't have to think with them. And that's a thing. And with those, when they work the way they're supposed to, you don't need a big hook. Channel cats, I would be using something probably 2-aught, 3-aught, 4-aught, somewhere in there. I mean, 4-aught's big. I mean, that's going to handle. And I've caught 40 and 50 pound fish on 4-aught hook before. So,
And I've caught 2-pound fish on an 8-aught.
Yeah, you end up poking their eyes out and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's the bad point to it. The biggest reason for big hooks is big bait, and
People's in here wanting to keeping it real. Richard's wanting to borrow about 800 subscribers, and PD's wanting to borrow about 400. Tween Cities is in the house.
I can tell you. I can tell you this. I have been there. What's funny is that if you're like me and trying to do better and grow and reach more people, as my wife says, it's just never good enough for you. And I remember trying to get to 1,000. I think I talked about this in the video that I did about reaching 10,000. When you're first starting, you're trying to get to 100. It's like, God, how long is it going to take? You get to 1,000, and it's like, I'm finally here to 1,000. I'll never, get. And then
next thing you know, boom, 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 boom.
Next thing you know, you look at some of the bigger channels. You look at Muddy River, those guys, and they can burn through 1,000 subscribers in no time. And I made the joke to Luke Nichols from Catfish and Carp. He was at the Catfish conference, and somebody said something. I said, Luke loses more subscribers in a day than I have on my channel. And that, he's 500 and some thousand. I mean, you could probably go through 1,000 a day. It's just crazy. So
I watched his live feed, and when I got off of it, he had 982 subscribers.
And the chat was probably just,
You could even make out a single person's name.
Yeah. And that's the bad
drags in the house.
There's a double-edged sword with that, in that I'm already pissed off that I can't comment with people because of what YouTube's doing with my channel.
Yeah.
When you get to that many people and that many subscribers, you lose. I mean, all right, listen, I don't know all 10,000 of them. I don't know a few of them, but you develop a connection with people through the chat and live feeds and that kind of stuff. But 500,000. I mean, think about that. That is how many people. That's more than all the people that come to the Panthers games in an entire season.
Yeah.
And somebody told me that one time. They said, think about that. You got 5,000 subscribers. Imagine if every one of them was right here in front of you. And that kind of, if you got 1,000, if you got 500, imagine if you had those. That's a lot of people that give a crap about what you're doing. So,
Hagen Grubbs, keep digging, buddy. 100 subs, you'll reach it. I just hit 602 today, guys. Thank you each and every one of y'all for y'all's support. Y'all the ones that helped me get there, and I do appreciate that.
Yep. What's time's asking about the flight out here. We were real worried. The reason I didn't put anything up right away was because we didn't think the helicopter would be able to land because of the ceiling. But luckily, clouds were up high enough, and we were able to get in and land here at the mountain retreat. The mountain retreat here. So. At here's a great question. Just the tip fishing. At 500,000 subs, what kind of money does that bring in? I can tell you 100%. I know the answer. 0. 500,000 subs brings in 0 money. And I'm not exaggerating, not kidding. The reason being, and you heard me say this in the video on my 10,000, if you watched it, subscribers are for your ego. Views are for your bank account. It all comes down to how many people watch your video. Now, generally speaking, there's a direct correlation between how many subscribers you have and how many views you're getting. All things being equal, the more subscribers you have, but it's not the subscribers, it's the people watching the video. They have to watch it. If I've got 10,000 subscribers and something, if every one of them watched every second of every video that I put out, I could make enough money that I would be very close to almost doing this sort of almost full time. My point being is they watch nowhere near all of the content. So if you had 500, let me tell you this, if you had 500,000 people watching everything you put out, that's Luke Nichols said it. He said he could live full time on what he makes doing YouTube, but you don't know what's going to happen with the whole platform and what's going to change and what's going to get shifted around. So, it's living off of that alone. Probably not the smartest thing in the world unless you're PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or somebody like that. So,
not PewDiePie.
Do you know who that is?
No.
You don't know who PewDiePie is?
No, don't.
Do you know who Mr. Beast is?
No.
Okay.
Sound like some people I don't really care to know, but I'll take your word for it.
PewDiePie's the biggest YouTuber there is. He makes about $28 million a year. Mr. Beast is not that big, but it's in that same category. He's making probably $7 or $8 million a year.
That's crazy. People just wait on him to put something up.
No, yeah. He's got major brand deals to where he's the one that, if you've ever seen any of the videos, he gives away. He'll go into a place and order a glass of water and then leave $1,000 tip. And they'll film this secretly. Waitress comes up.
I've seen that. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yes.
And he gets brand deals, sponsorships, people that will come in and give him $20,000. Go play with
just
this money.
Just to give it away.
Yeah, go play with this money. Mention our brand. Talk about us, and go give away this money. So,
all right. Well, it's past 8:30.
I got a hat. Somebody gave me a hat one time. Sorry.
One cast, one fish. One cast, one fish for the first spin tonight on the wheel. I'll tell you what.
The wheel. Do I get to spin it?
You get to spin it. We're going to start it out on the empty number, on the empty name. One cast, one wheel. T-Med. T-Med is in the house tonight. T-Med, get with one cast, one fish, or one cast, one fish. Get in touch with me. You can text me or message me through Messenger on Facebook or text me at 704 or 600-8369. T-Med, hook him up. All right, guys, we got one more. We're going to do another giveaway. It's something that Richard donated. It's a little Zebco spinning reel. You got him, T-Med. All right, buddy. We appreciate it. And here we are. We're spinning. And
what's he getting?
Justin Fishing Fetish. Justin Fishing Fetish. You just won a spinning reel. Make sure you text me your address, and I'll be putting this in the mail. Thank you, Richard Warskill. This is what he donated. Team keeping it real. Thank you, Richard.
I hope that doesn't get lost between now and the time I leave. I like that reel. It's a good reel. Comeback Carl was saying, I said $1 to $3 per 1,000 views. That's about right. That's a ballpark on what you'll make. Just depending on what your content is, CPM, that's a technical term, cost per mil. That's kind of the ballpark on where it's at. Some people make more, some people make less, but that's kind of where it's at.
That's what I was hearing about. 3 to 6 or 1 to 3.
Yeah.
I forget what somebody was. It might have been you was telling me.
Yeah, it kind of varies. I mean, I think it's the gaming content makes virtually nothing because everybody in there. First of all, most of the people watching, or a large percentage of the ones watching gaming, are young and don't have any money to spend. So why would Nationwide try to sell somebody car insurance that it's not old enough to drive? So that's kind of the reason why that whole world is. But then, somebody who's doing travel vlogs or something like that, hey, American Airlines wants to connect with them. And a good rental car company like anything but Hertz may want to rent them a car.
We went to Enterprise.
Try Enterprise, try National. Just don't go with Hertz. I would not rent a car from Hertz. And I ask you that the next time you rent a car, rent it from anybody but Hertz.
Oh, and you heard it from the man.
Yeah. We had an issue with Hertz today. So.
C-Rod dipping in outdoors. We got all kind of new people coming in here. Thank y'all, guys.
Good.
Pill and Drag, you in here. Send me your address. I've got your bobbers, and I got Kentucky Catman's bobbers ready to put in the mail tomorrow. If you send me your address, Mr. Gadget's in the house. Tell us a story, Mr. Dieter.
Well, I'll tell you real quick on the Hertz thing. And if you have a question, throw it back in because we're not ignoring your question, which is missing. We had a rental car for a trip, already paid for. My wife went to pick it up, and they required a credit card. She presented a card. It was a debit card. Well, we don't take a debit card. It has to be a credit card. So it's already paid for. Anyway, they said, and I was like, okay. And I'm on the phone listening to this, and I'm like, okay, I think I see why in case you damage it.
Right.
They've got something. And then the guy says, unless you fly in. Now, if you flew in, we'll take a debit card. At that point, it became totally illogical and made no sense whatsoever. Escalation to the supervisor didn't work. And anyway, we ended up getting the money refunded after customer service person hung up on my wife. You don't want to get my wife. My wife goes like
mine, T-Rex. That's what I call her. She gets mad and arms draw up.
So anyway.
That's T-Rex.
And she didn't cuss anybody, but they had enough of her. So anyway, we're not happy with hers.
Yeah.
And anybody, hashtag hurt sucks. Just post that on Twitter or wherever you're at. So,
now, come back, Carl. If you want me to do a spin, or was you going to do a spin? Say, give me a yes. If you want me to do a spin, I just done one. Just tell me spin or no spin. Combat Carl for the sinkers.
And Dennis says his parents went through the same thing. Apparently, there were 2 other people in line when this all happened that were doing the same issue. And it's something that I travel a lot. And ironically, one of my major clients books through Hertz. I've never had to present a credit card in my entire life. Now, it's prepaid,
Right.
as was ours.
Right.
Never had to present a credit card when I get a car.
All
But
right.
I digress. We went off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Combat Carl. The winner pick tonight is Hagen Grubbs. Hagen Grubbs. He's in the chat tonight. Hagen, congratulations. You just won a bunch of sinkers from Combat Carl. Combat Carl, y'all work it out together. If not, you can contact me, and I'll get y'all's addresses and contact information so y'all can work out what you need to work out. Thank you, Carl, for donating those to the cause and helping with the show. I appreciate it. You need email address. Hagen Grubbs, get in touch with him. Send him your email address, or you can send it to me, and I will pass it along. Thank you, Combat Carl. We appreciate that. All right, Dieter. We got a lot of, my channel included, a lot of smaller channels.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your best advice as far as starting to do your videos and to be able to get your channel to progress better and better, to get you more and more subscribers and more views, which is what counts?
Yeah, if you're trying to build a channel, not everybody is. So, I mean, there's some people just want to post videos, and that's fine. But if you're trying to build it, one, you got to decide what you're doing. You're either educating people or you're entertaining them. It's the 2 E's, plain and simple. You're either teaching them how to do something, or you're getting out there and acting stupid, comedy, singing, whatever. You're entertaining. Ideally, if you can do both, it's great. But it all comes down to really the story and the process of whatever it is. If you're entertaining, singing, comedy, which I don't think anybody here is trying to do, that's a whole nother world. But for what we do, it's really, everything has to be a story. I think I look at some of my content early on, and it was fishing. I was fishing, but you were looking at a guy fishing, and there wasn't really enough of the process of what's going on. Got some views. Some did good. Some did better than others, you know. But inadvertently, the ones that worked are the ones that told the story and went from the beginning to end. So that's the first thing. Tell a story beginning to end. It can be something as simple as how to tie a uni knot, or, you know, how to, you know, do whatever kind of fishing. Tell some kind of story. Sadly, you guys are going to have to talk. It's going to be a rare anomaly that you're not able to talk and get in front of the camera and staring into that little box right there. You just got to get over it. Listen, look how stupid I look. You know, you're going to be okay. You're going to be better than me. So get over that. And the last thing is, once you get all that in order, crank out content. That's what I got on to you for. You said it's been 2 weeks since you put a video up. If you seriously want to grow it, once you get the fundamentals down of doing what you need to do, you got to crank out content. You got to get it out there repeatedly, because as you start to get people that follow you, they're going to want to see stuff. I mean, there's, you know, people I subscribe to. I love seeing that they got something new up. And, you know, that's I look forward to something coming up and watching, you know.
And I seen that firsthand last year, about August into September. My channel was really growing, and then the leaves started falling, and the fall homework caught up to me. I had a whole lot, and when I backed off putting the content out, it's almost like my channel stalled. And it really surprised me. And, you know, And that let me know right now that you have got to put out at least, if you can, at least 2 a week.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. You got to do at least one.
Right.
2's great. What's Mr. Gadjaz? Indeed, I know you like you're on. You're like or wish at points when someone's filming for you. Absolutely, it would make a lot of stuff a lot easier. I think my videos when I film Grayson go a lot smoother because I just think I think it's better. Now, with that said, okay, just when I come up with something I think is going to work out good, I look at somebody like Richard Jean, the Fishing Machine, whose channel is blown up. Does everything himself. Probably 80% of what he does is off a chest he can. There's nothing great production value about it. It's not crazier through the roof, but his channel is, he's on that kind of curve going up. It's taking off. It's working. So yeah, I mean, ideally I'd love to be like Black Tip H and their show and have a camera guy that's flying a drone for me and shooting me doing everything, and have football players and rock stars on the boat catching giant amberjack, but that's not happening. So we got to deal with what we got. And so that's a good question though. It'd be nice, but it is what it is. You know, you just got to keep, you can make it. That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about YouTube. It's also a thing that's frustrating is you can make it with just that iPhone, or you can make it with a camera crew and camera people filming for you. And here's the funny thing. You can also fail miserably in both of those ways too. So
exactly.
It's really about the content more than anything.
But would you say that don't be fake?
Yeah, you can't fake it. You know, the worst thing to do is look at a channel that's doing good and go, I'm going to be like him. So if you got a guy that's over here real flamboyant and going crazy and talking about the wonderful fish, that's not you. It's not going to work. Okay. Or if you got some guy over here that's being a total jerk and everybody loves him, don't go be a jerk just to do it. You got to be you. You will find the people that like you. And it may take time. Sometimes the pathetically nice people get them quicker. Sometimes the horribly mean people get them quicker. We got no control over that. Got to be true to yourself. Somebody was asking, when do I like to fish? I saw a question.
I gotta get a pen. Sorry.
I'm scrolling. Sorry. Dieter, what is your favorite time to fish? Early morning, late afternoon, this time of the year? I say early morning, even though I've been going out in the middle of the day because there was flooding and I knew nobody would be out there. The biggest reason I like going out early is because this time of the year, obviously, there's boat traffic, a lot of recreational stuff. You know, with that said, I've been out during the floods the past few days, middle of the day, and been catching fish. So right now, I've never been a really big fan of fishing at night. Later, July, August, a little bit more. I can see it just because of temperatures and boat traffic. But, you know, it's just safety, convenience, having a normal life, fishing during some form of daylight hours. For me, my idealistic, romantic, fantasy vision of fishing is getting up way before daylight, having some coffee, getting my wits about me, some breakfast, going down the road in the dark, lights just starting to crack, getting to that boat ramp where you have to go to your... I need my light on. So you have to turn on the boat light and you get out there and you get to see the world come. That's my, you know, romantic fantasy vision of what fishing is ideally.
Some days every morning, come out here, sat out here with my fresh cup of coffee, watch the sun come up. Usually there's a few deer out in the yard, maybe a turkey or two, and listen to them morning birds starting up. Yep. That's me. I love that morning, whether it's the best bite of the day or not.
Yep.
It's something about watching the world come to life.
Exactly. Yep. I remember years ago, I was doing a shoot with Dale Earnhardt, and he was alive. And we were doing something. He said, "Man, it's the best part of the day." I think we're shooting something at his farm. He said, "I love this." I remember at the time thinking, I kind of like evening better because that's the time when we get to go out and party and chase girls around. But you know, now I'm to that mentality. I like that morning part. It's just I just like it. So, Justin Fish, do any of you Southern boys fish all night long like us Northern boys? Yes, some do. There are many times I'm getting to the boat ramp and boys are pulling their boats out from fishing all night.
Yes.
I don't do it anymore. I fish tournaments. I'll be honest with you. Even in my 20s, fishing them all-night tournaments, the next day, it screwed up your whole weekend. Now, if you got a work cycle, I know some guys work a shift to where that's their life. That's fine. I
No
mean,
big deal.
yeah.
I remember the 24-hour tournaments.
Yeah, we did one time that we called the Iron Man, where we had 2 tournaments at the same ramp on the same day. One finished, there was like an hour break, and then there was another one that went to like 2 or 3 in the morning. And yeah, the 24-36, I fished one of those with Chris Simpson. Yes, it's I ain't that mad at him.
No.
I'm not that mad at him anymore. But I understand it, especially, I'm blessed that I got a lot of time, a lot of opportunities to fish. So I can kind of do it when I want to and when it fits into my family schedule and everything. So
right.
It's the only time you got to go. If the only time I could go was at night, I'd be there too. There was a time when I was out there doing that. So when are you going to do a video on Baden Lake? David, that's a good question. I keep saying that I want to go down there. I also want to go to High Rock to crappie fish. I think I missed the 100 crappie in a day video already this year, but I like Baden is one of them places, and the times I've fished it, it's feast or famine. I've heard that from a lot of people that fish there, and it's just far enough of a drag and a drive with the boat. Well, here's what happens in my mind when I think about going to Baden. It's about the same distance as me going to Watery. And I say to myself, hey, it's about the same distance going to Watery, and then all of a sudden it clicks in, wait, I've got a camper down at Watery. That means I can spend a night and fish the next day without coming back. So Watery just ends up winning. But that's a great lake, some great fishing. It's got stripers in it. It's got a small river run on it that's cool. It's a lake, and he'll probably remind me there's a campground down on Baden that I could move my camper over to.
Well, now Wampus Cat loves Baden, and he's got his 2 biggest fish, a blue and a flathead, a 62-pound flat and a 67-pound blue out of Baden.
Yeah, we had the state record out of there forever. Who was it? Eric Fincher had the record out of there that stayed until Zach broke it. And I mean, there's good fish in there, and it's I think what makes it good is the fact that it is feast or famine and tough, and it has good days and bad days, and I think that's kind of what makes it work.
From what I understand, if you fish up in that river section, if they cut the water off, the fish just
kaboom.
They just shut off.
Yep. I remember we were fishing there in a tournament one time. We went up there, there was no water movement at all, and we seen some guys go running up the river. We left, and they ended up winning the tournament. Bite was horrible that day, horrible. And they won it with channel caps. They went up there right at the dam, and they were smart enough and knew that the bite sucks. This is not good. No water's moving, and they went up there and caught some big channel cats and ended up winning the tournament on a lake that you were expecting everybody to bring in blues and flathead.
Aiden Grubb said it takes him 2 days to get over an all-nighter. Richard wants to know, need to do another Grand Slam tournament. I'd love to enter a Grand Slam tournament.
They're fun. I'm going to try to talk the reason we got away from them with the Catfish Club. For y'all that don't know, we used to have what we still got it, but it's not really doing any tournaments anymore. It's more for political stuff, is the Carolina Catfish Club. I came up with that idea to start doing those things, and it's catching you've heard me say a slam before, channel cat, a balloon, a flathead. Well, we did a tournament where that's what you weighed in. And we got away from them just because of liability reasons with doing it at night, and you were having to have insurance and going through that whole deal, it was going to be a cost prohibitive deal. So I'd love to get the Southeastern Club guys to do it in some of their tournaments. It totally changes. Now, I know a bunch of their guys are not going to like it because everybody just wants to catch big fish. But you're talking about something that changes your dynamic in the way you fish. Is when you get out there and you catch a channel cat and a blue, and you're going, I'm flathead fishing the rest of the night. Most people start out and they flathead fish. And I lost one of them one time. I caught a good flathead. I caught a good blue, and I couldn't catch a channel cat to save my life. We were fishing baits as big as our pinky on some biggie rigs. Could not get a channel. It will totally. Usually it's the other way around. You get a channel cat and a blue, and you're trying to find a flathead. You're fishing every rock pile, stump. You got brim swimming all over the place. But
you throw the flathead in first.
Yeah, I think that's what happened on the tournament we fished, and I think we may have won big flag. And what way we did it was cool. Gave out a prize for biggest blue, flathead, and channel individually, and then the slam prize.
Right.
So
that
yeah,
would be fun. I'd like to do a tournament.
It's a different dynamic to the way of fishing, and it makes it interesting.
No,
so.
I wonder. No, see, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't even want to do that. I want to stick with the one fish thing. Anyway, I'm not even going there tonight about the tournament.
Oh, you're already thinking ahead to the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm changing up a few things this year for next year, and I'm working on a list of things, and I want to get with you later on. So
now, what is the date on that again?
April the 10th.
April the 10th. Okay.
April the 10th, the YouTube Patriot Catfishers YouTube tournament is going on. And I'm debating on whether it'll be put out at South Point or down at the Buster Boyd. But that time of year, it gets pretty busy down there, the Buster Boyd Bridge. And, you know,
your biggest conflict would be a bass tournament. You would need to check on a bass tournament going on.
Yeah. And I mean, South Point is usually just mainly fishermen. Once in a while, you'll have a bass tournament going on out there, but it's smaller ones. And usually we could deal with that. I'm looking at locale because of hotels and stuff. I haven't rode all the way up South Point Road, and I know it's growing like crazy. If there's anything pretty close for guys coming in from out of town, as far
everything would be in Belmont, up in that area, and there are hotels and stuff, and there's some in Gastonia, but
that's a pretty good drive from Gastonia down.
I'm just not sure which one is the lesser of two evils there, because I guess when you're at Buster Boyd, you're kind of going back over 485 over in that area toward Carowinds and stuff.
Well, they found some down in Rock Hill.
Yeah,
that went right down through TK and dropped down in there into Rock Hill. So that was pretty convenient for them. I think Catfish Bill's wife, she works for the hotel chain and was able to find them one down there pretty reasonable and got their discount.
I was going to say it'd be really cool if you could get a deal with a hotel and get a block of rooms or something.
Well, see, I did have, but then Bill's wife found that one and was able to get it cheaper than what I could get it, and they knocked like $80 off for the hotel, and everybody went to Rock Hill. So this hotel, and they was actually going to donate money, but I didn't have anybody to stay there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wasn't about to go back and say, hey, look, you said you'd donate money, and we didn't have nobody stay. Yeah. So I wasn't even going to go there. And
just the tip fishing, that's ever thought about picking a different lake, maybe one Saturday a month, just for fun, fishing, hanging out with your subs? That's a good question. I know Chris Flores from Muddy River Catfishing does some of his like little gathering, get together kind of things. And I'll be honest with you, my mentality on it is as hard as this is going to be for you people to believe. Okay. My ego kind of makes me go, this seems kind of like egotistical for me to go, I'm going to do something so y'all can come hang out with me. I have mentally a hard time with that, but in the same breath, it makes a lot of sense because actually getting to talk to people is a lot different talking to them in person. I enjoy the heck out of it at the Catfish Conference, and it's a good time to actually sit down and talk instead of doing this in a chat or something like that and stuff flying by. So yeah, I mean, that might be something, especially if you could, I'd feel better about it mentally if there were several people doing it. So that might, I know that's hard to believe with me being the way I am mouthy and stuff, that it would seem weird, but it does kind of seem weird to me.
And that's why, really that's why I hated with the tournament that I'd really liked. I should have scheduled one day of a gathering and one day of a tournament because there was so many people. And I really got overwhelmed because everybody was coming up, wanting to talk. And I was trying to get things running. Richard was a big help. And, you know, that way, that's what I'm going to try to work on is discuss with you and Richard because Richard's a big tournament guy, how we need to set this up so we can't have that visit time. We can't have the photograph made.
I think for most people, that gathering, hanging out stuff is more important than the tournament itself. You know, I actually taped a podcast tonight talking about some stuff. And that's one of the things I mentioned in there. It was talking about tournaments was the only reason I fish them anymore is kind of to go see everybody and hang out. And sadly, the big ones have gotten so big that I don't know half the people there anyway. So that intimacy of something fairly small to where you can meet people, hang out with them, talk, get to know them. It's very cool. I know people at the Catfish Conference, I don't get to do as much of it in the conference because there's so much going on.
Right.
But the guys that staying in the hotels and stuff, you know, they have a great time because they get to hang out, sit by the pool, goof off, you know, and it's there's something there. You're on to something there that I think. I'm glad you threw that out there because that's something I think we'll probably have to circle back on.
Yep. You want to hold it?
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't think he'd appreciate winning his own thing back, do you?
I love these things.
Whisker Time Fishing. Mark, Whisker Time Fishing.
That one doesn't rattle as much.
Send me your mailing address, and we'll have a set of whisker sticks headed your way. Thanks to Richard Warskow, team keeping it real.
I'm going to put them back in the bag. Don't worry. It's like, count them things. Count them after he's done with them. They're really cool. That one's got the little scent disseminator on it. See that there? You put some stinky stuff in there. It got some different scents and dips you put in there. I like that.
Well, I'm gonna test your memory.
Me?
Who was the winners tonight?
I have no idea.
Because I didn't write it down. I was hoping you'd keep up with it.
So I can scroll back through there. We can scroll back through there and find that.
All y'all guys, make sure you send me who won tonight, because my Duntail didn't write all the names down. I got Hagen Grubbs and Mark that just won tonight. So please remind me. I keep forgetting to write.
Mr. Gadget was saying that there's a lot of lakes with campgrounds and ramps and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you're right. You know, I mean, ideally, you know, sadly, it's all the way down at Santee, but one of the fish camps would be the ideal place because you got a place to stay, you got a place to put the boat in, got a place to keep the boats, and everybody's right there together. But now, you know, that's logistically another, you know.
Yeah, and I've had people ask that, you know, maybe in a couple of years, would I look forward to doing it at another lake?
Mm-hmm.
That would really be tough for me to try to arrange, because especially if it's a lake that I've never been to and I don't have some boots on the ground there to do some leg work for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
this is just kind of a fun thing that you're doing. I mean, you're not making any money off of it. There's nothing to, have somebody on there. Now, if we could get Zebco on board to sponsor this thing, we could really jack it up the level on it. But
you know,
that's a tough part, though, is getting something like that done.
I actually want to keep Zebco out of it. Main reason is because all the guys on here are going to step up, and every one of them that do the DIY stuff are going to do their style of giveaway. James Burton does sent the rod. I got the rod at the house. He donated one rod this year for next year's term, and he might come up and donate another one. You know, we never know. James is a good guy. But these guys right here and they're the one that makes the tournament.
Yeah.
They help out each other. They support each other's channel. I don't want it get to the point where Zebco tells me how to run my tournament.
Yeah. I was very impressed where people came in from too. I mean, it shot me.
Kentucky,
yeah, I figured the first one, you know, we'll probably get some people from North Carolina, South Carolina, maybe Georgia, Eastern Tennessee. But I was really impressed you guys that showed up. So
yeah, and kudos to all of y'all.
What's that question? I just saw one. Catapalooza. Glenn's Catfishing Adventures talking about Catapalooza. Have you heard anything on Catapalooza?
No, I haven't heard about all of it.
I assume you're talking about the deal in Pigeon Forge next year. I think it's June. It's going to be interesting. It's one. Peter always has a list. You know, I've always got a 1, 2, 3. It's a good time. I'm going to tilt your screen just a little bit. I think it's vibrating back on us. There we go. One, it's a good time of the year. It's in June. We've said for years that the issue at the Catfish Conference was that they had it in February. You're at the mercy of weather anywhere out there. So if you got people coming, it could be it could be snow. Last year was flooding. I got rerouted. No, that's another story.
I know I was on the phone with you.
But you know, you can have snow somewhere that hinders people. So February can be tough. You know, June's great in that, you know, people are out of school. The weather's pretty decent. It's a good vacation time for people. And the cool thing about this location is in Pigeon Forge. I don't know how much y'all know about that area from different parts of the country, but it's what we call the Myrtle Beach of the mountains. It's there's a whole lot to do for the family. So I think it's that was something we talked about. You need to make wherever you're going to have it a destination that you can bring the whole family. That way, if you can bring the wife and kids, wife doesn't want to walk around and talk about catfish all day. They can go shopping, go to some games, there's all kinds of entertainment out there. Supposedly they're going to have a fishing tournament. Probably not the best time to have a fishing tournament in June. But listen, everybody's, like I say about any tournament, everybody's fishing on the same water. So they're fishing for the same fish. So it may not be big fish, but you're still going to see who can find the fish. So I think it's going to be cool if they make it happen, and it may be good timing because of some other stuff going on. So it could be a good thing. I'm interested to see how it shakes out. And there's just a lot of stuff to do. That's the biggest thing. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff to do in Louisville, but it's
pretty spread out.
Yeah, and this is real. That place is very family oriented with shows and different things you can go to. So I think it's got the potential to be pretty impressive.
Favorite place in the world. Yeah, and the way I look at it, it might not be the best time to catfish, but to me, that kind of equals out the field.
Yep.
Because that could be anybody's game during that time.
One more thing about the Catapalooza Pigeon Forge deal is that is right in Catfish Dave's backyard. He's over in Sevierville, and that's right there. So there will definitely be Catfish Dave that will be showing up. Whether he will have his cougar on a leash, we don't know. But Dave will have no excuse not to show up. So hopefully that answered your question and my take on it.
Yeah, that was guys. It's after 9:00.
It is.
Yes, it is. We got a crowd in here, and some nights I really hate to cut the crowd off, but I don't.
That's how you raise your value, though, is to leave them wanting more the next time.
And we will definitely do it again.
Yeah.
Dang, Patriot, I'm not blue. I missed something.
Yeah, that's the worst thing is when you come in at the last minute on some of these comments and you're like, I don't get that.
That went right over my head.
Yeah.
But guys, and thank y'all for showing up tonight. Dieter, I appreciate you coming to the cabin. Next time, maybe my helicopter will land right and get you.
Yeah. So,
there you go. But we appreciate everybody coming in. We appreciate your support for our channels. Everybody share the love. We got a lot of new guys in here. Spread the love. Let's get everybody up to 1,000. The tournament depends on it. We all got to be able to go live to make this tournament happen. And the only way to do that is support your fellow brothers and YouTubers out here. But I appreciate you all coming on. Guys, message me who won tonight, so I'll make sure I keep a copy of all of it because my dumbtail did not write it down. With that being said, God bless America. God bless each and every one of you and your families. And please be safe out there. A lot of people's out there out west is still in flooding waters. James Burt said his little old town's surrounded. They can't go nowhere. He ain't been able to go nowhere for 2 weeks. He said he got a lot of deer and elk in the freezer to eat. But they're running low on vegetables.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
So, but guys, keep us let us know. Keep us informed. Look forward to seeing new videos. I know Dieter's just put up a couple new ones.
Have a new one.
I've got a few that I'm working on. If I can get this thing right here figured out, and we'll be putting them up. But that being said, thank you for coming in.
See ya.
We'll see y'all later. Say bye.